Hey, Michael Darmer here, and in this lesson we're going to talk about billing and collections. You know, if you're fortunate enough to generate sales and revenue, you have to realize that just because you're doing so doesn't mean you're collecting money. So we're going to talk a lot about how important billing and collections is. So let's talk about billing and collections. You know, cash is king in every single business, and when you think about when you generate sales, you have to make sure you're actually collecting money. Makes common sense, right? But a lot of times businesses don't put the right type of effort into setting up their billing and collection processes so that when they do generate sales, they actually collect the money. So let's get into both of those topics. First is billing, right? When you think about billing, the first thing you're going to determine is, are you going to provide payment terms? What I mean by that is, are you going to give people a period of time to pay after you've delivered your service, right? You may start with, and this might be your default, that people pay up front for your service, right? Right when you provide your service, that's when they pay for it. Think about when you walk into a restaurant, right? You don't get a week to pay for your meal, you pay for it right there. So your default should always be, can I set up my business to get paid right when I deliver my service? And there's some modifications to that. You might not be able to get paid everything up front, but maybe you could get paid half up front. Or maybe you could get a deposit, right? That somebody puts down, that ultimately somebody pays the deposit and then pays a little bit later, okay? But let's say you do have the kind of business that does require you to provide payment terms, such as selling things to larger companies. You have to set those payment terms as 15 days or 30 days or 45 days after you invoice that company, okay? So what I would tell you is try to avoid any payment terms where giving people more than 30 days to pay, okay? In fact, you might want to start with 15 days, okay? Because remember, if you give them 30, it's going to likely take them 35 or 40 or 45. And remember, even though you're generating a sale, it's really when you collect cash that makes all the difference, okay? So let's say you've set your payment terms and you say it's going to be 30 days. How do you actually make sure that you're billing correctly? Here's a couple of things to do. First of all, make it someone's responsibility, right? Make it something that someone does every single month. And let's say it's just you, then what you should do is set down a time each month where you're going to do billing. And try to do it and time it immediately after the period for which the bill applies. So for example, if you're billing monthly, right, at the end of every month, on the first of the month, you should sit down and start to create your bills. If you wait 5 days or 10 days to put your bills out, it's going to take that much longer to collect, okay? So now you've got somebody that's going to own it. You know when you're going to do it at the same time every month. Here's a couple other things you can do, right? Set up electronic billing. There's a lot of normal accounting systems that these days that allow you to electronically bill. So you're not waiting for invoices to ultimately go in the mail for your customers to receive them. You might also set up recurring billing or regular billing, right? Think about a lot of the services that we use where every month we just automatically get a bill where it's recurring and it's automatic, okay? So these are just a couple of the techniques to make sure that you're billing as quickly and efficiently as you can. Okay, great. Now we've billed our customers. We've created these invoices. We've got them out the door efficiently. Now, how do we go about getting paid? Okay? The thing to do is, just like billing, you have to make it someone's responsibility. They have to be responsible for achieving the goals you want to get with respect to collections, right? So let's say, for example, your payment terms are 30 days. Your goal is for all of your invoices to be paid within 35 days, for example. So how do you do that? Number one, like before, make it someone's job. Make sure that somebody owns it as part of their job. Secondly is create a regular process. What do I mean by that? Let's say you have payment terms of 30 days, right? At day 20, you'd send a reminder email. At day 25, you'd send a reminder email. On day 30, you might send a different email, right? That says, oh, by the way, remember, your bills are due. At day 35, right? You might pick up the phone and call the person in accounts payable, right? At day 40, you might pick up the phone and call your business contact to say, hey, listen, your accounts payable department isn't paying us, okay? Whatever the process you feel is appropriate for your business, get that set up ahead of time. In addition to that, you want to have relationships not just with the person you're selling the bill to, but with your business contact. Most of the time, the people you're sending a bill to are in the accounts payable department, right? And they're going to make payments periodically. You're going to want to talk to them, but you're also going to want to talk to the people that are your business contact that can remind their accounts payable department that they have to pay bills on time. Okay? Setting up a good process around collections is equally as important as setting up a good billing process. And then the final part of the process is, do you perhaps need to use a collection agency? There may be a point where, in my example, where it's 45 days and 60 days, where you actually have to hand it out to a collection agency. And typically the way they charge you is they actually keep a piece of what they collect, right? You don't want to be sending all the things you do out to a collection agency, so maybe you have another step in your process before it happens, is you pick up the phone and you call your business contact again and say, hey, listen, we've really got to turn this over to collections because you're not paying your bills on time. Remember, cash is king when you're running your own entrepreneurial venture, okay? Put just as much time and effort into a good, rigorous billing process as you would to creating your product and service. Because after all, when cash comes in the door, you're off to the races. There's plenty of information on all the little steps along the way in billing and collections that, in addition to this video, you can read inside this lesson.